and then up before you get over back there. Probably, actually past, Ashley Acres, there's a place back there where somebody's claiming to have, a lot of, amethyst crystals.
Really?
That's what I said.
Recording in progress.
It is 6 p.m. I'm going to bring the regular meeting of the Board of Directors of Carter City Metropolitan District for Tuesday, September 20th to order at 6 p.m. As we have no quorum, I will adjourn that regular meeting at 6 p.m. So folks, we don't have a quorum. We're not going to have a regular meeting tonight. We have a study session. We could hold a study session and other items on the agenda, but because there's only 2 of us board members, that doesn't make a lot of sense for us to be talking just between 2 of us about the different issues that are on the study session. So I'm going to suspend the study session until the next meeting, which is next week. We will have another board meeting next Tuesday at 6 p.m. and you all are welcome and very welcome to come to that meeting as well. For the meeting tonight, Greg and I have discussed this beforehand. We suspected that we were going to have a quorum. We do have excused absences. They're not just AWOL. So we have discussed it earlier, and we are going to, both of us are going to stay here to listen to your grievances, to allow you to speak. We will do that as long as it stays respectful and stays under control. If it does not, then we will stop the meeting immediately and everyone will have to leave. So we are open to hearing from the audience, and we'll be here to do that. We need to put some time limits on it, so please be respectful of everyone else's time and your own time. I don't think we're even going to formalize what we're going on with the list. So I'm going to just open it up for discussion. The meeting has been adjourned, so this is going to be just basically a public forum.
Stop recording.
No, I'm on record. Okay. First, somebody put their hand up. Mr. Cook.
What I wanted to talk about tonight, if you'll indulge me for just a moment, is the loss of 2.5 feet of storage rights in Lake Beckwith. I think I'm going to stand up a little so it can be heard a little better. I have been digging through documents and talking to people, and I had run across a document that I can no longer put my hands on that said that the 2.5 feet, or you had to turn in a plan to offset the compliance order by September 15th. Now, because I couldn't relocate that document, I knew who the document came from at the state. So I called the gentleman and I said, I ran across the document, I no longer have the document. I would like to know if what I have read is correct. And I explained to him that I had read that the Metro had a deadline of September 15th of turning in your plan, not the compliance part, but the plan. And he said, yes, that's correct. I said, it's the 16th, did you turn it in? And he said, no, they have not. He said, however, because he knows I want verification on things, he said, hold on. He did not hang up his phone. He did not put me on hold. He said, let me check my email. I could hear him typing. He come back just moments later and said, no, I've received nothing. That was on the 16th. Now, we know there was a deadline. Whether or not it was the 15th or somebody had sent me a note that the chairman had said it was the 30th. I don't know. I did not receive that document either. However, The documents I do have, the first one that kind of touches on what we're talking about is from the manager. It says in an email, I don't need to get into everybody listed on this, we are getting close to a deadline of losing 2.5 feet. That was written August 24th. You actually responded on a different note on 8/31. I'm gonna hold that one for just a second because it's relevant to another one I did find today. It's taken me a while to dig through all of these documents. This was a short paragraph, if you'll bear with me. So this is from the state. I don't have the to header on it. It was dated 9/2. So on the 2nd, this came from the gentleman at the state. So yes, there is a 10/1/22 deadline in the current dam safety compliance plan. Now we all know that has been in existence for a year now. Just to recap our previous discussions, between now and 10/1, so not on 10/1 but before 10/1, if you can provide a written plan, and I'm calling that the plan, if you can provide that with the engineering design, scope, schedule, estimated construction, other things here, along with the finance plan and deadlines. I don't need to read the whole thing, but it ends up, once we have that, we can renegotiate the dam safety compliance plan. The dam safety compliance plan is in effect and triggers on the 1st to lose the 2.5 feet. So, if you don't have that plan in, it was due by the 15th, but when I talked to him, I begged him, I said, look, we really need as much time as possible. He cannot go past that 10/1 deadline because that was set in motion a year or two ago. He did say, and of course he cannot guarantee anything on the phone, and there was no time to put things in writing. He said, I would allow them, meaning the board, a drop dead plan of 10/1. If you get everything there by 10/1, he will allow renegotiation of the 2.5 foot loss that triggered on the 15th. Now, this community has already lost 1 foot by not turning in documents and being late on things and just not getting things done. It has hurt us in we cannot store a full level in the lake this winter. And if you've lived here for any time at all, you understand that we capture this monsoon season and it holds us until spring runoff. Snow really doesn't affect the lake level that much. Yes, it affects it, but depending on the year, it could be negligible. But we can't really afford to lose the 2.5 feet. So I'm begging the board, please, and this is where it comes in, the last page that Chairman Neal wrote. And you wrote this to the manager. I believe the state needs an actual written plan with timelines of completed and projected engineering and prospective funding for the dam. He is aware funding will not be real for some time. So you are exactly right. He knew you couldn't provide the funding, but the state was willing and is still willing until the absolute first to accept your plan without concrete dollar numbers on it. But he has to have a plan or you lose that 2.5 feet. I shouldn't say you lose it, the entire community loses not just the 2.5 feet, but total of 3.5 feet. That is extremely dangerous for this community when it comes to making it through the winter, or if we have a dry summer between runoff and monsoon. You fill that lake mostly between runoff and then again during monsoon. So I'm gonna ask this board, get on the ball, get it done. We need that water. And if you need to, and I highly recommend, fire the manager. He continually
Here.
misses the deadline.
Yeah.
He missed the, he cost us the 1 foot. We're almost out on the 2.5 foot. I have filed Cora after Cora after Cora that is not on time. Thank you for hearing me.
A quick response. There has been a report sent to Mr. Perry. I actually called him today, have not received a call back, and he is generally very good about calling back. And I have not received a call back from him about the report, but he has been sent a report showing progress and showing efforts, prospective funding, those kinds of things. So he does have one. As far as it being adequate or not, I want to hear from him. Who is first? Go ahead.
Thank you. Hi guys, memory. We got a huge sewage leak up off of Red Cloud, and right on the top of that, on the end of that sewage leak, it's all flowing down a ravine towards the lake and other people's homes. Now you're so far, I guess, phase 1 cleanup, I hope, has been to just pour lye all over it. You poured lye all down the ravine. So maybe another week of if we get rain again, all that caustic lye is going to go down that ravine to other people's houses, or possibly into the lake. Now it looks like it's already been going in the lake. This is something that just didn't happen over the weekend, and I don't care what caused it. It doesn't matter. You guys should have known about it instead of former candidate Vance knowing about it, walking his dog. So what are you going to do to clean it up? And will you please, I'm asking the board to please test the lake water. You're putting us all in danger. Thank you.
Everybody, when you do speak up, would you please state your name?
Mike Bennett.
Bob Cook.
Thanks, Mike. Next.
No response?
Next. Well, the response, as far as actually being a response, I don't have a board here to give you a response, but yes, we are taking good notes of this. The board will be, all of the board members will be aware of everything that's said here tonight, and we will.
It seems like they're ducking out to me. It seems like they all ducked out. Look at all these people.
I can't respond to that.
All right.
They don't live here for one, so.
She had her hand up before me.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Brandy Chartier. I've been to these meetings numerous times. I've discussed issues with the well. I've discussed issues with the filtration system, the sewer system. My question is, when is enough enough? You said we had a contract for the well, the pump that went missing in the well. We had a problem, null and void. You don't hold a contract for a well for 2 years. Okay, so that's just out of the question now. I gave suggestions on the filtration system about manual overrides. Everything. Has anything been done? Nobody can say anything. You talk about tap fee increases. We have a problem with our infrastructure. If we don't take control of it now and do something about it, we are all of us are in jeopardy. Doesn't matter what's happening. You want to raise tap fees. How can you raise tap fees when we don't have potable water? We don't have potable water. You know why? Because we get letters in our mailboxes with our water bill stating we got fined for this, we got fined for this. We should have a 24-hour call when you get that test. It says we have something wrong with our water. Is there a boil notice? There are so many things that are not being done. When are we going to take the initiative to do something for us people in the community that pay taxes? And I brought this to the board many times and I stopped coming. You know why? Nobody wants to hear me. If you don't dig down where you spread the line 6 to 8 inches, you're going to have a major problem. You can go ahead and get a backhoe up there and start cleaning up immediately. Put clean fill back there. We still don't have rocks at the playground. How many years is this? When are we gonna start seeing things done? Fire hydrants. Talk to you, Greg. Fire hydrants. The one still in front of my house still hasn't been tested or hasn't been done. 8 years for a fire hydrant. But we
So
can
in that
put,
particular one, it hasn't been done because the fire chief said it didn't need to be done.
actually talk to the fire chief. He said it was on the list.
He did say it was on the list, but he said that it wasn't a priority one and that it didn't need to be done right away.
So if it doesn't need, if you don't need water out of it for any emergency, it doesn't need to be done.
Everything that's planned on those particular items goes through the fire chief.
Okay, my second question then is, when was the last time we flushed our system through the fire hydrants? It's been over 5
Last
years.
month.
No,
Last month.
it has not.
I've seen.
That's all I have to say. All I say
Yeah,
is
say
please,
do
Go
it
around,
routine.
Okay, all right.
we don't do every one.
please take a stand for us people. You're supposed to be our voice. You're supposed to be our reason. You want to raise tap fees for people who have owned land here. You already raised it $6,000 within a year. I can't build my home because I can't afford another tap fee on top of that. That's what I have to say.
Thank you, Brandy.
Hi, my name's Andy Arambula, and I'm really new to the neighborhood. We bought our house last year in June.
What your name?
Andy
And
Arambula, Arambula. When we initially moved here, the water was awesome. You know, the lake was full and the water tasted really good. Within a matter of weeks, it has gone bad. And I know that you reported that we're working on different systems, you know. I watched the lake. I live up off of Waco Mish on Wild Hog Lane. So I can see the lake. There's nothing but a wheat bed up there. I ran into one of your guys and he said that you have a plan to pour chemicals into the lake to break these weeds down. And these weeds are going to be filtered through the filtration system at the pump house. When is that going to happen? Who's going to monitor the filtration of these weeds? Was this a true statement? I think that the weed overtaking of the lake is very serious, and that needs to be addressed. I also heard rumors that you have an outside vendor that's working on some planning of this. Is there any community group that can help or sit in and listen to what they're talking about? And there's a lot of guys in this community that have a lot of experience in the rural world before they retired that might be able to help with some suggestions and not make it such a, we're trying to beat you up, but to try and make it a better community. We can't even drink our water. It smells so bad. It smells like a fish pond. We have a swamp cooler and I change the filters regularly. It smells like I got a fish pond. So there's no way I'm gonna drink that water. And it's embarrassing when I have family or company. I mean, I brag about that house I live in and view and everything, but when they come over and it smells like fish in my house, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is embarrassing. And I don't really know anyone in here, a few people, because we've been here so long. But I want to see us come together as a community and the leaders to tell us what's going on here. I feel like I'm lost. I don't know what's going on. I look on the websites. The website really doesn't tell us anything. They tell us to go to that Greenhorn Valley Facebook thing. It doesn't really tell us anything. Like this lady said here, if you're testing the water, I would like to know. I don't want my wife and my grandchildren to drink that water and then get poisoned when we could have been boiling it and we would have been okay, because we still have to wash our dishes and wash our clothes. But take showers. I mean, it's pretty bad, and I have an allergy problem, so it's really important that we have clean water. But I don't think it does us any good to beat you guys up. But we need answers. We do. We need some serious answers, and we need to see results. I watched the lake go lower and lower and lower last year, and we had a pretty good monsoon season, so it came up. Now these gentlemen are saying that we're losing the water rights. That's a lot of water. And if we don't have any snow this winter, which could happen, then we're not going to have new water. If we don't have monsoon, like he said, we're not going to refill the lake. Where is the water going to come from? Also, just the infrastructure coming into the lake, I see weeds growing out of that, you know, concrete and everything. Who's taking care of that? Who oversees that? You know, at one point, you're gonna have broken concrete because the ice and snow is gonna get in there and break that all up, and then we've got another problem that we've gotta pay to get fixed. Who manages that? Who watches that? Somebody has to have, there needs to be some checks and balances in your management, and they need to be accountable. And they need to be accountable to the community. That's what's going on, because no one wants to leave this community. We want to live here. And we need you guys to step it up. And if you need help, ask us. Ask us. And if you need resources, we need to reach out to the state. We need to look for funding. We need, you know, supposedly there's going to be a lot of money coming around the corner, you know, for infrastructure. What's the status on that? Have you guys even thought about reaching out looking for money? Have you submitted requests? Why don't we know about that?
So,
You know?
Mr.
That's
Andrew,
right.
let me respond to you. As far as the information, we would like to get more. We have a board meeting the second Tuesday and the last Tuesday of every month. Virtually everything that you had just questioned and talked about is discussed in that board meeting. So the information is public, it is out there. We don't have our website updated well enough, but that information is out there. As far as going after the money, we are actively going after money. We are looking at the lake, those kinds of issues, and absolutely would welcome you to come to ask questions, call and ask questions. Come to the board meetings and you will find that we are addressing those issues.
And if you can't come to the board meetings, they're all online. You can watch every one of them. They're all online right there when you go on the website, you can look at the board meetings, and everything that you just talked about is addressed at those board meetings.
We are actively looking at all of those issues.
Yeah.
The lake itself was treated last week.
With the
We'll see some
weeds.
change in the lake from last week.
Do you have an outside vendor that's working with the city, with Colorado City, to help make sure that this gets done? Or is that our people?
No, it's outside.
It's
We have a
outside.
contract.
Okay.
And that again.
And they
that
already did it
contract
last
was-
week.
That contract was discussed at some length and 2 weeks ago.
Okay, is that review of that assessment available for us to look at?
Absolutely.
Because I would love to take a look at it, and there are things that I'm concerned about, like when we lost our water, and we lost our water for quite a few days because, you know, a computer error or something, I'm not exactly sure. Is there backup equipment, redundancy? Are there filters? Are there pumps? You know, who monitors the system? It should be a 24-hour system. Who's doing this? Who's watching this? Do you have a crew that is responsible solely for that? Because last week I saw on the Greenhorn thing that there was a water leak, but it didn't get reported because somebody missed something, a call, or missed, it wasn't addressed in a timely manner from what was put on the website. So, is there a call tree? Is there an alert that says, hey, we're losing pressure somewhere? We lost a pump? You know, things like that. You know, I think that's really important to the community, that you guys have the resources and the professionals that have the ability to make these decisions and perform at that level. Because just in my neighborhood alone, I've already seen like 6 or 7 new houses going up. I mean, they're going up all over the place. From my perspective, I see this community growing another 100 homes. I don't know how that works here, but my vision, how are you gonna be able to provide water and services to another 100 homes if we're having problems right now, and if we let the water go down and we can't keep the water clean and we can't keep the filters replaced, and then we're telling our community, oh, put a reverse osmosis system on your drinking water. Well, that's not the way you run a community. You take care of the community.
That's right.
You know, I'm not here to beat you guys up, but I do have some concerns, and I'm glad I came tonight because it is the very first time I came, and I want to know you all. I want to know you better, and I want to know what's going on, because I don't want to beat you guys up But, you know, I need to have answers too, and I think everyone else here in the community needs answers.
I really would welcome you to come to the board meetings. I think you'll find I think you'll find if you come to board, they're boring. There's a whole bunch of the board meetings that are boring.
Oh, I spend my whole life in boring meetings.
But there's a lot of, most of what you're discussing
Yeah.
actually is
Everything that you
actively
just-
addressed at the board meetings.
Everything that you just touched on, everything that you just touched on has been addressed at board meetings over the past 6 months.
Okay.
Everything that you just touched
But it
on.
hasn't been solved.
Well,
Yes,
we need to see resolutions and who, you know, there's checks and balances, who's saying, okay, we did this. What is, you know, what's the resolution to this, you know?
So most of the stuff has resolutions to it already figured out.
Okay.
You know what the single biggest issue is? Money.
Okay.
That's the single biggest issue.
Yeah, who, does the board work together to find funding, or is the manager responsible for finding funding?
Which we have been instructed, and I'm saying instructed because I don't have any proof of this yet, but we've been instructed that, that these funds are well in hand and underway. So,
Did we get a grant writer?
No, but I've been dealing with it on a personal basis with USDA, DOLA. I have Arkansas Valley Roundtable. We also have Colorado Conservancy Water District that we're looking at. So we're looking at a situation where, for example, our dam, just for repairing it and getting it set for a 10-foot raise, is $3.5 million. To do it, the 10-foot raise is going to be $10 million. Okay, so we're trying to gather all the resources we can with all this infrastructure money that's out there. I met with them last week at SDA. We're moving forward with it. Everything looks good. That's all I can tell you. It's a process. There is that process. It isn't, it's just walk in and say, I need this money, here it is.
Yeah.
It goes
Yeah.
through 2 or 3 of their boards before it goes back to us saying
Yeah.
whether we're approving.
Well, do you have any help within your department with that? Because that's a lot to ask for one guy to do on his own. So I think that you need to, you know, use some assistance, and like I said, with the checks and balances, somebody else to check in, so he's balanced out.
so for the past 3 months that we've been trying to get a utility director? So 5 months? We've had applications sent in. We've been trying to hire a utility director to take some of the load off of him so he can continue to focus on this here stuff. We've gotten 2 applications and neither person was anywhere near qualified. And one of the reasons why is we're offering, I don't even remember what we're offering, 80,000? I think we're offering 80,000 for the position. And the position that we're wanting to fill is realistically a $150,000 position. And we don't have the money for it. Getting the 80,000 is going to be very difficult for us. Okay? And most people here, including myself, don't really want to raise rates. There's some other things that we've got going along there before we raise rates that I think needs to be done. Like the true cost of us producing a gallon of water, which has never been figured since this place was put in existence in the 60s. So to this date, we can't give you an actual amount of money that it costs to produce a gallon of water to go to your house. Okay, you got to have those numbers. If I had those numbers running, if I didn't have those numbers running my business, it would be very unsuccessful. So, but there again, we come back to manpower. You know, you see all these restaurants closing down and everything else, or stores closing down. Our supermarket isn't open on Sundays because he can't get people. We're having the same exact problem. He's been trying to hire field hands for the field, and we've been trying to hire that manager. We're not getting them. We're not getting them.
Thank you, guys.
Hi, good afternoon, good evening, Nikki Chartier. Welcome to our community.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Excuse me, could I get your name?
Nikki Chartier.
Okay.
Been coming to the meetings myself, and like Brandy, I had stopped coming for a while too, because I was disappointed. I was highly disappointed. This is actually the first time that I've been to one of these meetings where we had an open discussion. So thank you for that.
So, let me interrupt you for just a second here. The reason we normally don't is because we have to follow agenda.
I understand.
It's kind of fortuitous tonight that we have an adjourned meeting, because along that line, we don't have to follow agenda, and we can give the citizens time to talk. I appreciate everybody's consideration of the fact that we have meetings when you come to meetings, that we're limited as to what we can talk about simply because of time.
I completely understand. I serve on 3 boards myself.
So
I
tonight is-
understand. And
tonight is extra.
I value and appreciate that, so thank you. But what I want to say is that I really value and appreciate also this open discussion tonight, because it brings so many different things and perspectives to light. And I think that's what we all need to be aware of, is the perspective of not just city manager, everyone on the board, but of each member of the community too, regardless of what elevation we're living at in this community and what's happening there. Like you, last summer I had really become dismayed about the additional building that was occurring in the community with the current infrastructure failing. And I still have houses continuously going up around me, and that is frightening to me. So I wanna, whatever I can do to potentially help any additional misfalls, disasters, anything that's happening to our community, God, please reach out to me. I mean, whatever I can do to help, I want to be able to help. Anyone here, I'm certain, would want to help, because we don't want to have to sell our homes. We don't want to move. Just like I expressed last summer, I don't want to move. That's my forever home. I actually have 2 homes here, one on each side of the lake. I want to stay. I want my kids to come back from Georgia and pick up where I leave off, right? I mean, this is my forever home. And I think a lot of us have that same vision, right? And like someone else had said, you had said, actually, there's so many people here within our community that do have these additional resources, and I feel like y'all could help function better by helping to tap those resources. We all have some knowledge and skills, right? So reach out to us. Let us be a part of that help, right? Perhaps we can help with finding grants. You know, we just hired another grant writer over at Public Diversified Industries. You know, you were with us over there for the golf tournament that we had. Maybe we can help work something out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many different resources that we can take advantage of. So let's try doing that.
So I got, sorry. go
Sorry, one more question. This gentleman talked about the report that needs to be sent up to the state about, you know, our requirements by.
Hey, hold on just a second. And Angela, were you done?
I have one more thing.
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
So with regard to the job description for that other person that you're seeking, is that available for any one of us to look at?
Yes.
Posted.
Perfect. It's posted on, okay.
Website,
Perfect.
or
Okay.
the utility director.
I know many businesses, many are having the same difficulty trying to find people to fill positions. We're going through it. Everybody is going through it. We understand that. But finding that perfect person for each position is just what it's going to take. So if we can all help to distribute that and just spread that knowledge, maybe you would end up with some additional applicants who are serious, who don't care that it's an $80,000 a year job versus a $150,000 a year job. Some people just have good hearts and they want to do it just because it's the right thing to do. Okay? And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Libby.
Just a real quick, he had mentioned that that report is gonna be sent in, and you mentioned that, you know, you're still working on it. When that gets finalized, is there any way that we can see it? He says he has to search through all kinds of documents. I wouldn't even begin to know where to
Isn't it
look
already
to search
sent?
the documents.
It's in the, if you open up the agenda packet for tonight, it is in the packet.
So the document that you sent to the state?
Yes.
Okay, so it has been sent.
It's on the website, so on the
Okay.
website are the agendas for each meeting.
Okay.
In that, if you pull up the agenda for this meeting, it is in there.
Look
Okay.
for agenda and packet.
Yeah. You know, I'll look through it. If I have any questions, I'll just reach out
Yeah.
to you here. And,
Anytime.
yeah.
Okay, Bob, you had your hand up.
I have a follow-up, but I'm willing to wait till everybody else has had a chance.
Okay.
I'm Lynn Vanderwall, and I just want to piggyback on to something you had said about communication, and I hear what you're saying, that everything's on the website. I haven't been out there for a while, but my whole issue is the postal issue, the problem we had with that. I didn't see communication, and I'm on several Facebooks of the Green Valley, and I just joined the Metro, but I still did not see anything regarding what was going on with the post office. I went up there the day, you're looking at me funny, did I miss it?
It's open now, it's awesome. United
Oh,
States
no,
Post
it's open
Office.
now. I know all that, but I'm just saying, where's the
There's been a
communication?
lot of stuff on there.
On which one, though? There's several.
Oh, I
ones
didn't
that
see
were
it
now.
until the day before anyway.
So I went up to Pueblo and, I got a Wednesday to get my mail and it was packed. So I said, okay, I'll come back tomorrow. Came back tomorrow and they said, oh, we blocked all your mail up, you can't get it, you know, go Tuesday to get your mail. And I said, well, what, I didn't know about that. And he said, well, you know, you're supposed to be telling you, and here's a form you're supposed to fill out, and you have to take this in. And I thought, where did I miss the communication? Because like I said, I'm on several Facebook. So what I wanted to know is, what is the actual Facebook page that tells me what's going on and the latest stuff? I mean, you say everything's out on the website, but then you said something about the website not
So
working.
the issue with the post office specifically is that, of course, is not a CCMD issue. We can operate as citizens, but if we, on our website, we could offer information that would be secondhand. We are not part of the postal, of the decision making of the post office. We actually have input, and we operate as citizens just like everyone else. So the best information you could get about the post office would be from the post office.
Okay, but, so I just wanted to know, which site should I look at to find out?
Greenhorn Valley View
And Greenhorn Valley View.
is the one that really stayed up on top of that.
What was it?
Greenhorn Valley View,
Greenhorn
or
Valley View.
Greenhorn Valley,
There's two or three
Put out the
different-
paper, the newspaper.
Okay, so Greenhorn
Valley View.
And one other thing before you go, we were on the agenda tonight, did our shed get approved?
That would be next week, but there's no.
Can't tell me today.
You can't approve it because there's only two of us, and it takes
Oh, so
three to
it's,
approve it.
okay, so it won't be approved tonight, all right, okay, thank you.
I'm Vance Holden.
Vance.
Why is the sewage not being cleaned up? That's one of my main questions.
what is what?
Why is the sewage not being cleaned up?
They went in and picked up a lot of it.
I
They
understand
threw
that,
the
but-
line, they threw the line down to kill the bacteria.
Barely. I found raw sewage everywhere today.
That's all.
I mean,
Go up
it's
and
bad.
recheck it.
Why is it not signed for the public to keep out of there?
Oh, man.
Why is it just a kid can go down there? Why is it yesterday I went down there, was there for 2 hours, and the manhole's wide open with ladder in it, not a person around? Nothing's blocked off. I know for a fact this went on for a long time. I also wanna know why the house right above that is having sewer problems. I know, I was working right on the street, right down the street. The guys were there with the vacuum truck, left and right, up and down the street. Why was that never checked below there? I think it's a public safety hazard right now that it's not even signed, cordoned off or anything. I do believe that it has to go against state regulations. You got a caustic on top of a sewage spill. How in the hell is that not blocked off? Why isn't it broadcasted in the community? Just stay the hell out of the area. People's pets are in there. I saw cats in there every damn day I went in there. They're licking up shit and lime right now. I mean, does the people that live around there on Waco Mish, Spotted Tail, everything, you know, all around there, they've been told, you know, keep your pets in, watch out. Another thing, I was personally sick about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Very bad stomach issues, and I've heard, since I brought this up, many more. It was all about a month ago, right after we had all the big rainstorms. And I know that was there when that happened. It was all the water, it was water been tested in those lines below that. Your personal opinion is we need to replace those pipes first, because in that area we have so many water leaks. How do we not know that this water did not seep in to the water system? Have houses been checked since I reported this? Hydrants, anything? I thought maybe it was just me. You know, I'm sick. I don't drink the water, but I bathe in it. You know, my dishes are washed in it. I never get sick. You know, but I just put it off like I have stomach flu. But I mean, the minute I put this out, I've had people contacting me everywhere on that side of the lake saying they've been sick too. That's my main points there.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Don't we test the water monthly?
We test it weekly.
Weekly.
Well, you know, this all happened when we started getting a weird smell over there, and we had discoloration of water, which is not uncommon for us around here. But this was happening at the same time, undetected. It was running down the hill, and we got several rainstorms that were 3 inches, 2 inches, an inch. I'm watching water run down the streets, and it looks like a raging river, you know. And you're telling me nothing got into the lake or nothing got into the groundwater or anything. When I discovered this the other day, it was about a 500 foot, and then it goes underground. It just ended, you know, it went underground. And I know there's a berm there that was sent it towards Waco Mission or whatever, but you got ditches. Everything runs down in the lake. Those are my concerns. And I personally think that thing needs to be cordoned off right away. People need to, just stay out of there.
Thanks, Dennis.
You're welcome.
Sorry, Nikki again. So with that, I'm wondering if the Environmental Protection Agency has been contacted with regard to that, because they may also be able to produce some federal funds to help. Yeah, with not just the cleanup, but with the infrastructure itself. And Brandy had a really good suggestion to go ahead and take out the first 3 feet of topsoil along that spill space and put in some new, fresh backfill in there. That would be the first step. Did the EPA give you a timeline on when they might get back with you?
No.
Okay.
I left a message. That's all.
And they haven't called you back?
No.
Okay. Can I encourage you to call back and say, hey,
Yes.
we've had a spill?
Yeah.
Because then they will call you back immediately.
Never
And then the other thing, I wanted to piggyback off the woman's comments of the post office. This sounds really off the chain, but I need you to hear me out and think about this for a second. I used to live in Georgia. I was there for 16 years before coming here. That's why my kids are there. They went back. They wanted to live where they grew up. In the town of Bridgeboro, there is a house where they have their post office. It was run by Miss Tyson. They pull in her driveway. They go right up to the door of her house. There's a post office right there, full-fledged, 100% UPS pickup every day, all kinds of everything. So if this one fails again, is that something that could happen in this community? Can our zoning work with that? Doesn't that make sense for a perhaps retired couple or an early retired couple or even a single retired person to run a community post office out of their home? Why not? Can we make that happen?
We can. The post office can, and they won't.
Well,
If there were several hundred people that attended that meeting. But Lauren Boebert is working on this for us.
yeah.
And she's working pretty hard on it for us. But the post office doesn't care about us.
Right.
Make no mistake. They don't care about us. So unless they're forced to by Congress, which is what Lauren's trying to do, they're not going to.
Okay. Thank you.
Because we've offered land, just so you know, the board here has offered land free of charge. I think we even went as far as possibly using the VFC building free of charge.
No, not the VFC.
Or not the VFW building.
That'd be a
Okay.
perfect spot,
We
yeah.
can't commit to that.
I know we can't commit to it, I'm just saying we've offered this stuff in the past,
Right.
post office don't care.
Okay, what,
Thank
Bob,
you.
you had your hand up
Yeah,
again.
like I say, if somebody's first, I'm willing
I
to wait.
have one question.
Hang on, Brandon. Dennis, did you have something?
Oh, yeah. I'm Dennis Cars. I'll probably make some people mad here, but I'm good at that. I don't really care. But I'm going to stick up for you guys, okay? Everything that's been discussed tonight, and you've mentioned it before, it's been brought up at meetings. I know you guys are actually working on all this crap, because I've been coming to all the meetings. The only ones I miss is when I go to Arizona in the wintertime. Then I come back and bug you again, okay? But I got to stick up for you guys. And as far as the community people, you know, everything you've brought up, you know, if you were coming to the meetings, you would find out. You would know exactly what's going on, okay? Instead of coming to the meeting and throwing everything at them at once, you know, you'd be able to keep up with this stuff, okay? And I do, and that's why I'm sticking up for all these guys, you know, from Jim to the board. You know, one board member or two board members are not going to change anything. You know, it takes everybody
I believe that.
to do this,
I
okay?
believe that.
Now,
Do you mind, can I make one more comment?
Go ahead.
okay, but anyhow, I just wanted to voice my opinion on that stuff. And my other thing is, every meeting I come, you only allow me 3 things to be brought up. Sometimes I only have 2. But the burn pile, I would like to find out about that, because some people in my neighborhood are having piles of stuff that they want me to haul away for them. I brought it up last month and haven't heard anything yet, but
I'm still trying to work it out with Kelly to get it shipped, since that shipper was such a great deal for everybody.
yeah,
So that's one of the things that we're trying to schedule that.
just the chipper bringing back.
Yeah.
So we're not going to have a burn pile or
No.
anything ever again, or what?
Dennis, really, as far as a meeting, that probably should be brought back up again next week.
Yeah, yeah, I will.
Well,
I'll be here. Bug you.
Just a second.
So,
And do you have something real
Yeah,
quick?
just one more. I had a thought. Have you ever had a citizens advisory committee that can help with, you know, sit in on some of these, not at the board meetings, and gather a little more
Okay, so
information?
Let's bring that up. I've got a question for you about that for a little bit later, kind of as we get towards the end of this.
Okay.
I'd like to ask you about that. Brandon, do you have something?
Yeah, I had a question. You had said if everybody came to the meeting, and nothing against you or anything, I came to many meetings.
Same.
And when I talked about the contract with the well and everything, and we had to push for it, first we had one contract, then we had another contract. We didn't see any results. That's disappointing to us. We have been told that this is gonna be done, this is gonna be done, this is gonna be done. I tried putting a community event together to clean up around the lake. That was shot down.
Why?
Yes, it was shot down
by who?
by everybody here. I came, I said, let's do a community cleanup. We had to get, actually Donnie was here when I came, put it that way. We had to get this permit, we had to get this, we had to make sure we could do this. We would all get together and clean up around that lake. You know how beautiful it would bring back again? And this is something. And we're not just talking about our water anymore, we're talking about the infrastructure for the sewer. Because if we have a water issue, we are going to have a sewer issue,
Okay.
which we already do.
Thank you, Brandon. Sir?
I'm Spencer Corey. I live on Little Raven, and where that sewage leak is, basically between Little Raven and Red Cloud there.
Your name again?
Spencer Corey. Vance texted me, let me know where it was. I had to walk the first guy out there because nobody wanted to go across the ravine. So I walked out there in the middle of the night, found it, found the area, saw how bad. I've smelt that for months, but just assumed it was our lake because it's always been like that. So whatever the hell's going on with that, saying it's vandalism or whatever is just ridiculous. But back to the other, how much water do we make per day? 650,000 still?
No, yeah,
How much do we use per day?
I couldn't tell you, I'd have to.
Last time I was here, when we ran out of water and we couldn't fill up those tanks, and everybody's out of water, we used 650,000 a day. So people complaining about the new taps, that's where the fear is coming in. How does that even make sense? And it's not fair to tell people they can't build. It's not fair to charge them more. What's going on to improve our infrastructure?
So can I address that real quick? Since I was the SOB that brought up hiring tap fees. Okay, so, and I was, okay? I'm the one that said we need to raise tap fees. Because right now we have an opportunity to, tap fees, everybody needs to understand, first of all, tap fees are infrastructure money only. We can't spend them on anything but capital improvement projects. That's it, okay? Grants, when you go and get a grant, they usually want matching money. You almost never get a grant for 100%. Usually they'll give you a grant for 50%. You might be able to get the county to chuck in another 25% or so, but you're gonna have to come up with some money, okay? Now, some of our matching funds can come out of that TAP money, because we're not spending that TAP money. Okay, that TAP money goes into a separate account. So right now, with Pueblo West making it very difficult to build out there, and with us having the opportunity to raise more money, we will have the money in the account when they give us these grants that we can match, because we've got one of a couple choices. We pull the money out of the account to match, or we raise everybody's water bills. Now, I live here in town. I don't want my water bill raised.
Amen.
Okay? Don't want it. So, the people that are moving into the community are donating, right now they're donating $16,500 to, part of it's going to water, part of it's going to sewer. Okay, which I actually, on my suggestion to raise the tap fees to 20, I wanted more of it going towards water. Because in my opinion, and it's like just my opinion, in my opinion, the water infrastructure needs a little bit more attention than the sewer infrastructure does. But that's the reason why I suggested raising those tap fees, is because while we got these people moving in, while we have this little boom, let's take advantage of it and try to get some money in the accounts so we can match these federal grants that we're hoping to get.
Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, yeah, just one last question since it's open forum. We have this park in my neighborhood and you guys just won't finish it. It is nasty. You won't cut the weeds. You won't finish the park. You got something like $60,000 worth of grant money and you spent $30 on the park. Where's the other money? My Freedom of Information Act papers didn't come with that part. I don't know what you guys did with the money. So to me, it seems like the money was stolen. You had the park done for free by someone who didn't bother finishing it. You guys won't finish it. So when can we expect the park to be finished? It's been 5 years.
Can I answer, as the money?
Go ahead.
It's sitting in the CTF fund. If you look at your financials,
Oh,
it's,
okay, then can you use that to finish it?
yes, as soon as we get zoning.
As soon
Okay,
as zoning is done.
So it's been 5 years and you guys didn't even do the zoning?
Nope, they didn't.
That's ridiculous. That's why people like me haven't come lately. We're tired of it. We're really tired of
It is
it.
what it is. I'd love to be able to haul the gravel over there tomorrow. Matter of fact,
Well, if he says you've got the money, there's a pile of gravel at Circle K. You can't tell me there's no gravel.
It's not that. We got a cease and desist order slapped onto us by Mr. Cook sitting right next to you.
Why'd you do that, Bob?
He slapped a cease and desist order on us, so we can't finish it until the
No, I
zoning's
did
done.
not.
Now,
Well,
I
you do
did
need the
not.
zoning.
I did not.
that part right there I've been perturbed about. And me and the city manager actually got into a long discussion about that, because I thought it was being put on the back burner. Now, I haven't spoke to him over at B Square now for a couple of weeks. But the last I spoke to him, they were working on it with zoning. Now, the guy over there at B Square is very good. He does his job. I know him. and he'll get the job done. Now, I haven't talked to him today, which I was gonna do that before I came to the meeting, and I forgot to, because I wanted to make sure that he was getting everything he needed from the city. But I promise you, I will call him tomorrow and make sure he's still got everything, and that all we're waiting on is zoning.
So after you get past Bob, is there any timeline of finishing it?
The gravel part.
Bob, what's,
What's going on with the gravel?
I have that already.
You've got that ready and
As
completed?
soon as we can do it.
So,
I have donated,
there you go.
people donating gravel and moving to Holiday.
I was gonna say, I thought that we had some people that were donating to haul it in too.
Bob?
Well, let's clear this up right now.
Uh-oh.
I have never slapped a cease and desist order on
You
you.
did it right here in the meeting.
I did
Bob.
not. That was a notice of violation. I have never put a stop to what you were doing. You
Bob,
get that
right
straight.
here in the meeting, and we
It
got
was not a
recorded.
cease and desist order. It was pointing out that you were telling people to move stuff off of their property when you were doing exactly the same thing. Let's get that clear.
Bob,
Now,
right here in the meeting.
I did not give a cease and desist. I gave you a letter stating you're out of compliance. There's a big difference.
And you said you will immediately
I
cease
said
and
I
desist.
would if you didn't complete the zoning on it. You have said, as a matter of fact, it's on your list, that you're trying to get a lot line vacation. Lot line vacation has nothing to do with zoning. So you don't even know what you're talking about with the issue of the property. He doesn't even know. I have pointed it out many times what the issues are. You don't want to correct them. As a, for your tap fees, I kind of wanted to point this one at my friend up there. You say you need to raise money. Everybody knows you need money. But the first thing you've got to do, if you can't manage your pennies, you're damn sure not going to manage your dollars. You are supposed to get a report once a month from that standpipe that tells you how much it collects and what the actual rate is. We all know that the rate is $25 per 1,000 gallons of water. For 3 months, I pointed it out to the chairman. It's not charging that. Instead of charging me $8.25, which is what it's supposed to be, it's charging me $6. So if you can't even correct your internal fees, you'll never collect the right dollars. Now that's just one thing. I bet if you add up your camping fees and your standpipe fees and your water fees and your trash bag fees, and you're not collecting all of it, maybe you would have some money in the bank. As the ladies pointed out over here, one of them asked, are you using a grant writer? His statement was, I handled it myself. Now let's back up just a second. She also said that you had a contract on the well. He sat there and told the board in February it would be started, and he had a contract.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I come back. You've got a contract. Are you going to get it done? We have a contract. I got tired of it a month ago, and I corroed that contract. You don't have a contract. He lied to you. Get that straight. He's lying to you. You do not have a contract. You have a work agreement. That's why nobody has to do anything. There's no deadlines. There's no dollars. It's a work agreement. There is no contract.
I thought it was a bonded.
It wasn't even that. It's a work agreement.
You guys told me it was bonded.
Do you have a copy of that?
I do.
I would like to see that if you don't.
You can core it from him like I did. He'd be
I'll give
happy
it to
to
him.
supply it to you.
Well, that's not cooperation.
Well, it is, because I had to fight to get it. He's got it. He's welcome to hand it to you.
Okay.
It's been turned in. I had to beg to get it. Vance mentioned water testing. I want to clarify more of what he was talking about, and I'm making an assumption on you, Vance. When you asked the gentleman, are you testing the water? you didn't specify, are they testing the water at the plant, or are they going property to property
No,
to test the water?
Property to property on that side of the.
Would you
lake
like
where
to
the
ask
spill
that
is.
question now?
That's what I meant, so I don't know if you didn't get it or that's what I meant. Around that area where the spill's at.
So why don't, I will yield and let you ask your question.
Well,
Thank
and
you.
that's it, you know. And I don't think I got an answer.
I know on it's monthly,
Mhm.
that we have sample places that we have to take
Exactly.
from the state that
Yeah.
they say you take it from here, and that's what we do right
Their
now.
houses on it.
Is it
Yeah,
monthly or
I
weekly?
called the leak and whatnot, where their steps taken, knowing the substantial amount of the leak and how long it's been going on now, I don't know, I walked that in April, I think, with my dog, you know, just looking for antlers or whatever in the green belt there, and it wasn't in there then. What alerted me, and it was pretty easy to see, I spotted it from Little Reagan, I mean, there was grass this tall in there, so it's been going on a while. I mean, the whole ravine is full, it's usually dirt. So I know it's been going on a long time, I know we've had some major rainstorms in there, and that was my point. When I called, I would think, somebody would think, that we better start testing some taps down there immediately, I would think.
Please.
And the more I'm hearing, you know, through Facebook and just talking to people around there, they all know now where the smell came from. I mean, almost every neighbor there, as he pointed out, has been smelling it for months. I could smell it from the roads, you know, just because of the wind, you know. I didn't smell it when I came down in there because the wind was blowing a different direction. But when I stand on Red Cloud, I could smell it.
When was it that you went down in there looking for antlers that you said it wasn't?
It was about April, into March, April, so there was nothing in there then.
So it's been going for 4 or 5 months.
Somewhere in there it happened, and, you know, as I was witnessing when I found it the other night, as people were coming home, the more sewers being used, the lid, as everybody's flushing or whatever, was coming out, and, you know, everything was coming out like that, so.
All right. Thanks, Vance.
Yeah.
Libby?
Hi, Nikki again. Can you tell me what the mean number is of the samples that have to be taken from houses from the community?
I can't give you that number, I can find out for you though.
Please do. I would encourage that we actually go 10% higher than the mean, spread out amongst the community because of the different bedrock and everything that we have, the crevices. Some people are potentially using wells, others are not, others are using the lake water, but the dangers from this sewage leak are, I think, more serious than what could be at the surface that folks are seeing. So I think we need to increase those number of samples and perhaps have those samples taken weekly. You want to tack it on my water bill every month? Tack it on, because we need to have these samples done. We need to ensure that everybody is safe. Seriously.
Like mine on their water bill too.
I just have a quick question. You had said one thing, Greg, I just want to make sure. You said it's $16,500 per tap, correct?
Yes.
How many new homes have we put in? It's
This
over
year?
10.
25.
Probably about 25.
Okay, how much money is that?
This year,
Yeah, maybe.
I take that back. Now this year, we've only put in,
It's more than 10. I know that for a fact.
I think you're right, it's just 10 or 11 now. It's only 10 or 11.
Well, how many did we do the last 2 years, do you know?
The last 2 years, we're probably at 30.
At 30? That's $495,000.
Where's that money?
It's in an account at the bank in San Juan.
Okay, so if we're getting grants, and you had said that you had put out an ad for a grant writer, the board had approved for a grant writer when I was here at a meeting. We never got one. Some of these grants from the FDA, from the water, environmental, is a minimum of a quarter down to match. Why aren't we going for those? Second, you said you have to take testings from the same houses. That is a choice that can be changed through the water board, because you're testing the same exact houses every single month. If you bleach that system, they're gonna have the same exact water test. If you go to her house, it's gonna be different. You have that choice to pick somebody else's house and test that water. I think we should start doing that.
Yeah, I'm right off that sewage leak. You can pick my house.
Yeah, that's why I asked for that increase in mean numbers, go above that, or 10% above.
Oh, well, just one last thing about the park. If you had the money in the account the whole time, how come a year ago when I was here, you couldn't pay $17,000 to have it installed? I don't get it. That's why people don't trust you guys. Fire this guy.
I trust him.
Vance, yes, sir?
What was she was asking how many taps that we acquired like in the past year. What was that number? Like past year?
Only last year,
Yeah.
you're probably about 12
12 last year?
this year.
12 at this year? So
Yeah,
how
it's
many
slowed
last year?
down compared to last year, where we had probably about 25.
Okay, so you're saying 37, basically,
Yeah.
for the past years.
Or 30 or 37, because I figured 30.
Yeah.
So,
About 30.
Approximately.
I don't quite know where
Regardless,
those
it's a lot
questions
of
go.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just-
it's $500
But I
million.
just want to assure you, financially,
Yeah.
our financial reports are available, they're public knowledge. If you'd like to look
And so's
at
the audits.
the money, where it goes, you know, I would encourage it
Yeah.
for people to check out the financial.
Yeah, I
reports.
just heard that. I was just wanting to clarify
And
that.
I have a question. Have you ever reached out to other communities that have grant writers and see if they'll work with our community to help write
Yeah.
grants?
Yeah.
So we need to, throw that all out there. I don't know if you belong to a professional organization where you can reach out to all your peers and say, hey, we're having a hard time finding a grant writer. Will you share that grant writer with us? Or will you tell them, can you come and help us?
Get an intern.
So the county's got a grant writer that I know because I went and spoke to the county commissioner, Ortiz, and he told us that grant writer would be available to us, okay? Not permanently available to us, but it'd be available to us on a part-time basis.
I
I
think,
did
yeah,
turn
good
that over to
idea.
the
Get an
city
intern.
manager, and I don't know what he did.
Check with the colleges.
Yeah,
Did it
colleges.
himself.
The colleges, they may have a program where they would do an internship under the supervision of, their instructors and learn how to write grants.
They'll do it for free.
CSU Pueblo
They have
has
to.
them.
And they have environmental, they have everything.
Yep.
So,
That's where we need to tap into their young people.
Let's move on. Steve?
Hi, my name's Steve Bodad. So what Nikki said about people get involved in this community, I agree that we need more people involved in this community. And I volunteer for one of the committees here, but I've seen some things going on in meetings that people need to be more respectful of one another. Quit being so demanding, quit being so threatening behavior, and watch your language.
Well, those are the people we won't put on the committees.
Well, the committees are open to the public.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can't just say that. Right? You can't. But you can ask somebody. I would put it to the board that we need to come up with code of conduct for behavior at meetings and committees for everybody. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because we can get more done, with honey than you can with
I
vinegar.
do know that what I had heard had happened to Mr. Cook was unacceptable. Me and him argue all the time, and I don't recall ever threatening to kick his ass.
Well, I argue with both of you all the time, and nobody's kicked my ass yet.
So,
Only once, and that was
Language,
mutual.
gentlemen.
yeah, that was
I was gonna say, you threatened him too.
But I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. We do probably need to come up with a code of conduct for that. Because grown adults carrying on like they're in middle school should not be allowed.
Oh.
We're all adults, we shouldn't have to have a code of conduct, we should have a moral compass that gives us a code of
I
conduct.
agree. You're here.
So anybody else?
Probably shouldn't have sewage coming down the back of my house either.
That's
but-
true.
Go ahead, Steve.
Karen Mills, Bob kicked this off, talking about losing 2.5 feet of water in the reservoir. Clearly, there's a lot on the board's plate, and I'm sympathetic. Lots of fires. We need to perform triage. So I'm putting in my 2 cents worth to say I hope that you cross the finish line on that 10/1 drop dead date to save 2.5 feet of water. I think that's job one.
I think there needs to be a phone call made every day.
Well, like I said, I was told today that that stuff has been submitted. Now, I haven't verified that, but I was told today that the stuff has been submitted and that he has it. I'm quite certain I will get a phone call tomorrow from one of my buddies if it hasn't been submitted.
Thank you.
I found that emails are proof that you made the phone call, or that you contacted them. My bosses never said a phone call was any kind of proof at all. And so I would recommend emails and return receipts and everything else so that it can follow the line, the accountability.
It was in that situation, it was emailed to all the directors and the two main people, well, the three main people that need.
And if you don't get a response from that person, who's that person's boss? You know, I mean,
Well, that's what it was.
I've had to do that.
That person's boss too.
To follow up on what the lady just said, not only do you need to verify that it was received, you need to verify the contents is what the state wants. That's the most important thing of all. If anything needs to be corrected, it needs to be corrected now before that October 1st drop dead deadline.
I agree.
We are aware of that, we're on top of it, but well taken. Please be assured that we're concerned about that too. Steve?
Nice shirt, by the way, that's all I wanna say. Nice shirt.
Yeah, I wore the shirt personally tonight, just so
Did you-
everybody
did you?
knows. I got time to go.
Well, it's catchy, okay?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Anybody else have anything? Really? Bob?
Just a quick touch on Mr. Collins' fees. I think it would be prudent, because of the ongoing standpipe issue, to audit every fee received. Whether it be campground or golf course or water department or sewer department, anybody that collects a fee, see if they're collecting the appropriate amount. I'm not asking you to overcharge anybody, but you must collect what's due if you plan on matching funds.
Okay, then, point taken.
Can I answer Bob's? My report for August on the standpipe, it was at .0242.
My water bill today was $6.25.
So then you might have just did it the wrong way. I'll have them re-look at it.
So, everybody that's here, I appreciate your consideration and really demeanor of everyone. I think this meeting is well done. One of the common issues that we hear from the community is communication. And on our side, I think probably a common response is go to the board meetings. Now, I went to a few board meetings, they're boring. They're really boring. Because of that, it's not real pleasant to go to board meetings all the time. So, in that line, we need your help. We need the community's help. And to your point about all of the issues you brought up, it really brings up the issue. Should we have a public forum once every other month? Or
Yes.
once a month, or
Yes.
whenever. And would you all attend?
Yes.
Yes.
Glenn, can we vote?
I don't think, it looks to me like there's a vote.
My wife sent me down there because it's the only place people will listen to me. Okay.
She sent you to the
So
right
like a
place.
town hall meeting type
If we
forum
did
or
that,
something?
if we had a town hall type meeting, how often would you all like to have it?
At least once a month.
I think
You
once
get
a
more
month is
people
plenty.
here.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were.
If you go any more than once a month, people aren't gonna come.
I have a question. How many metro meetings are there a month? Two?
Two.
Okay, so if you throw one,
Guess what
community
you're doing to the
meeting-
board members?
Huh?
Guess what you're doing to the board members? You throw another meeting in there.
I know, huh?
It's accountability though, right?
It is,
And that's
I'm
what we're all
not
here
whining
for.
about that, I'm
Yeah.
not complaining about that.
And one of the concerns I have, being new to the community, like you said, communications. Has this community ever thought about hiring a communications manager? And I know that it's expensive and you're trying to figure out where to get, you know, a utility manager, but I think if we had a communications manager that could address a lot of our issues, or a lot of our concerns in a timely manner, then I think that it'd take the heat off of you guys, and it would get us some clear answers,
I think
because that's what they do.
We have talked about that, and I think that it does become a budget issue. So, again, y'all are out there, and y'all offer help for volunteers, we would be welcome to volunteering to help us do communications. Absolutely welcome.
So-
if there's somebody that would be willing to do that.
I was gonna say, if you guys go back and watch the meetings, I have been, and you can ask Bob over there, I have been a huge advocate of volunteers in this community. I've asked for them since, a matter of fact, when me and Bob ran the first time to get elected, I sat down there at the library and I said, the only way we're gonna be able to do this is if I get help out of the community, because I'm not smart enough to do it all by myself. Okay, and quite frankly, I don't think the five of us put together are smart enough to do it all by ourselves. I think we need community help. But if you guys look at the meetings, most of the meetings, and I love the fact that all you guys showed up, I really do. But most of the meetings, guys, we got Dennis.
Dennis the Menace?
Oh, well. But I mean, and there are some meetings that there's several people that show up, but there are a lot of meetings where we don't have any. So, if we could get somebody in the community to volunteer to do something like what you're talking about, that would be awesome. I mean, anybody that would be willing to sit to the meetings and maybe get on Facebook or
even your own website is.
We can do it on the website too.
I think that your website is kind of weak. That's my personal opinion.
It is weak.
And you know,
It's horrible.
I don't know if you have an IT guy.
Okay, but the difference between that is your website, we actually have to go there. Facebook, it's in your face.
Well, for some people,
But most-
I try to stay off
If you're
Facebook.
part of the Greenhorn Valley group, it's in your face.
Well, a lot of people
Mayor,
aren't on
approach.
Facebook. They want to go directly to the source.
You know, if you have a communications person, those questions can be directed to the communication person who will find out information and get back to that person.
So the way to do, and I guess I go back to the question about these meetings, you know, community forums, whatever, once a month. If we could do that, and if it would be attended, I think that we would go through there for setting up. That's where we would get a public information officer. We would get somebody that could do that kind of stuff. And that person would be at those meetings and could engage the community. I absolutely believe that we've been lacking in communication within
You
the
might be able to
community.
find a grant for a
Go ahead.
to pay a communication officer somewhere. They're all over the place.
All roads to Metro, $6. I go to the same mark, overflow. You're getting one.
So let's schedule that meeting so we can all go home.
Okay, so
Yeah, the community forum.
any other suggestions for help? Please know that, and we are starting to put newsletters in with the water bills.
That's good. I like that.
That is going to continue. That's going to understand, that's going to be, again, a responsibility of the board. So it's, please.
Each one of
be
us
patient.
board members is gonna write a letter.
Be patient with us as far as, like Greg said, is that our brains altogether aren't good enough for some of this stuff. So, but we are going to do that, and we would like to be able to have a better communication with, we'd like to have more engagement with the community. And, gosh, if there is suggestions, if you feel like it's something you can do to help.
And if anybody wants to volunteer for the communications director, you can either come to me afterwards, or you're more than welcome to come to the store.
I can't even talk English.
It'd be all right, Steve. I'll walk you through it.
Oh, yeah.
Dale, what I'll do is I'll put down
What's
under
yours?
new business or in the work session for next week's meeting, community forum. And that way, if the board's here, you guys can vote on it as to how you.
When we want to do it and how we want to do it, sure.
I think so, and now, understanding, of course, but that's that really is kind of informal, so, we don't want to make another formal meeting. We want it to be informal to where,
And there are
we
certain
just
rules that
discuss
we
this.
have to follow, because of the Sunshine Act and a few other things that we have to follow when more than 2 board members are in the room. There's several rules that we have to follow. Right now, there's only 2 of us, and we don't have to follow those rules.
That's probably what you were gonna say.
So why don't we just keep 2 people?
Instead of a meeting, I think it would
It
be
would be
better
easier.
to hold your community forum as you have done tonight.
Or town hall.
And
keep
just have
your-
2 board members at each one?
It
Yes,
doesn't matter
please.
your number. If there's 3, you can just officially do your
Post
other
it.
part. But I'm just saying, instead of calling it a meeting,
Right.
which conflicts with state law, have a community forum where we can gather and give our grievances directly to the board.
Neil, yeah, Jim Beach has his hand up there. Jim, did you wanna say something?
Yes, Jim Beach, listening to Zoom, it's his first time, but, one thing, Mr. Cook just said something about, having stuff, you could do a workshop, and you can have all your people at a workshop, and it doesn't have to be official, so, but you could do it that way. They've done it, in other entities. The other one is, they were talking about, go back and look at the meeting minutes. The last meeting minutes are for July, so you probably had at least 1 meeting or more since then. I know you can't post the meeting minutes until they're approved, so yeah, meetings earlier in the month, but we're still missing probably all of August, unless you didn't have any meetings in August. So just keep that in mind, and it may be part of your snafu week website. So that's all I have to say.
Well, they are.
Jim, are you saying that they're on the website?
Oh.
Yeah, on the website, it talks, I think it's either, its last one is either July 22nd or 29th.
Okay, all right.
And I was just informed that the August meetings, are gonna be posted here pretty quick, cause I had to sign them. And I just signed them tonight.
Yeah, so it's July 25th. The study and the meeting minutes and the public hearing minutes.
Okay.
On the 26th. I'm looking at it right now on my phone while I'm talking to you on my computer. So, August. So, so you get those up, the more information you get out to the people that are after it, you tell them to go look at the website. So, and I understand snafus with websites, but you can get that up faster, that would help you.
Okay, thanks. Point well taken.
And, I will be, I'll volunteer for community advisory. I've been here 30 years. Destin, this is my forever home. And people know who I am. I'm vested in this community for 32 years, almost 33 years in this community for other things. So I would be available for that.
Great, thank you. Thank you. We are, the website issue is, anybody that has, extra expertise in websites, they're welcome to come in and help us with that as well.
We can't officially create the position until there's a full board meeting, but that would be something I would like to see on the agenda next week.
Even using college resources again, these guys that are going to school for, IT, they would love to come in and help out all that. Just to put that on their resume, I mean, we need to start thinking outside the box.
Yeah, Bob?
Mr. Chairman, if you remember correctly, approximately a year ago, the board seriously discussed and said, get interns.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Any comments? Any comments at all?
Greg, what store were you saying people could come see you at?
At my store in town, Bam Bam Firearms. It's right over there by Southside Walmart.
Make sure you bring lots of money. Man,
What did you have?
I just wanted to say that we utilize students over at CSU Pueblo and at PCC on a consistent basis for several different things at Pueblo Diversified Industries. So I know that you're going to be able to find some interns, paid or unpaid, for grant writers, website administrators, anything that you need. They are there. They are willing and able to do this. Their student leaders are constantly looking for places for their students to be able to do their internships. And they have to do well because their future livelihood depends on that. So you'd be amiss not to try to reach that pool.
So do you have an access point there?
Yeah.
I do,
Here, I'll give you a
Can you
card.
get that to us?
I certainly will.
I'll give you a card and you could.
Done. Okay.
You hold your hand up or you offer Coke bottles?
2 for $1. Anyways,
Are they empty?
no, what you said is exactly true. When I was working on my degree, I did my internship at the public pretender's office. Okay, they pretend to be lawyers there. Anyways, yeah, I did it there, and she's absolutely right. I did my whole semester there from 8 in the morning till closing time, 5 days a week. So that is a good source for you.
It is 7:25, but we have, really, our board meetings last longer than this, so if you have more to say, we're still here on the same token. If not, that's.
I just gotta go home and deal with the kids, so I'd rather deal with you guys.
Well, that's kind of, formally, informally, just end this meeting, and we're still here if you have something to say.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
On 101, I'm more than welcome to take them.